I'm Fletcher Roden, and this is Tracking the Lone Wolf, based on my book, Tracking the Lone Wolf, the Sigma at work, at home, and at play. Today on Tracking the Lone Wolf, from the jaws of the lone wolf. Tracking the Lone Wolf is a twice-monthly show with a lot of fascinating information that's vital to just about everyone. So I suggest you like this video and subscribe to the channel. The book is available in paperback and for Kindle and in audiobook format from Audible or other platforms. I am a public speaker, and you can learn more about that at the website trackingthelonewolf.com. You know, in my book, and often here on the show, I have a little section called From the Jaws of the Lone Wolf. It's a little more formal in the book than on the show, but I refer to my own experiences because I am a Sigma personality. That's 1% of the population. It's one of the things that qualifies me to be talking to you on this show and to be doing my public speaking and to have written the book, because I am one of these rare types. I'm also a ghostwriter with a lot of experience in writing psychological self-help books, with lots of information at my disposal and expert research skills. I'm not a doctor, however, nor am I a CEO of any corporation. But having written about all these things and being a Sigma, I have a unique perspective, an educated perspective, one I can share with as many people who have ears to hear and eyes to read. Largely what I bring is my own experience, because I can tell you as a Sigma, there are challenges. Who else can share with you this particular perspective? Now, I did not know what a Sigma was until just recently. So I spent most of my life believing myself to be, well, I suppose I would have thought a beta, even misunderstanding that designation. I'm so glad I know now what I didn't know then. But a Sigma, knowing what I am, has brought me great relief. It's brought me great insight as to my own place in human society and society's place in me, if you'll pardon the eloquence of that. I always thought of myself as an outsider weirdo. And I didn't think the alpha was the outsider weirdo. But now I know the alpha better than I ever did before, too. I know the gamma and the beta and the delta. And, of course, the sigma. I know myself better. And that's the journey we're all on. To better understand ourselves, our place in the world around us, the people around us. I wish I had known this earlier. I'd have been much more comfortable with the unconventional choices I've made. But as a child, of course, I was raised in the latter half of the 20th century. Alpha and beta were the terminologies used. Before those terminologies, I was just a weird kid. I hope that my work can illuminate for other young people that they have a place in society, a valuable place, in fact, an invaluable place, because the sigma is the crown jewel in the human race. All of the strengths of the alpha without any of the weaknesses, the strengths of the beta, even the gamma and the omega, without the weaknesses of the delta. The sigma is a personality type which is shared by Albert Einstein and Leonardo da Vinci. I'm not saying I'm the equivalent of either man, of course. But it's nice to know that I'm in good company. So I hope I can assure others and clarify for them not only who they are in society, but who others are around them. Because the book is not just about the Sigma, it's about everybody else. And it's not only for the Sigma, it's for everybody else. Now, I was bullied as a kid because I was misunderstood. The Sigma always is. I can tell you that it has resulted in me of some complexes. I have a bit of a superiority complex and a bit of an inferiority complex, which is, I will admit, a narcissistic tendency. I'm not a narcissist, however. Sigmas don't tend toward personality disorders like that. Some, a bit of a tendency toward isolation. That's a hallmark of the lone wolf. Now, from the jaws of the lone wolf, I can tell you that can be a lonely road. It can be hard to be the lone wolf. It requires a lot of lone. It can be hard. We eschew romances because lone wolves, Sigmas, have trust issues because the way we process our thoughts and feelings, we're very associated with the past. So we tend to process things based on our experiences, and because the lone wolf can get along alone, he or she tends to do that. So it's easier to not trust somebody than to trust them and be hurt for the lone wolf. Other people find it impossible not to be alone. The lone wolf's advantage is that he can or she can live alone. But that can be a lonely road. It's hard for the lone wolf. We have advantages, but we have disadvantages too. I can say that I've often been misunderstood, as lone wolves often are. I consider myself the king of being misunderstood, even by many people close to me. It just happens. I try to be well-spoken and to use my clear communication skills and to use my people reading skills, but they often fail me, as they do everyone. It's a lifelong pursuit to better yourself, to keep these skill sets sharp, to keep yourself conscious of personality types. Things like critical thinking and active listening and emotional intelligence have to be applied diligently. They don't just happen. The lone wolf knows this, but even the lone wolf can forget from time to time. Also, it's important to remember from the jaws of the lone wolf that we're not alone. As I've mentioned in this book and in my book and in this show, we're lone wolves in society. If you look at a lone wolf in actual nature, and a true lone wolf is rare in nature, because while an adolescent predator may be lone temporarily until they found a new pack, but some don't found new packs or prides or pods, and they simply remain alone. And it's a rarity in nature, but it does happen. But it's they don't live as long. And it can be a stressful life to always be responding to climate, because the lone wolf is subject more to climate than to culture. But climate changes, and these changes require constant adaptation. And it can be tough to have to, constantly be dealing with the climate when culture provides sanctuary and safety, the things that any wolf needs? You know, unlike the lone wolf who's truly alone, we do integrate with the great pack of the human society. We're lone, but we're not alone. So if you're a lone wolf out there like me, if you're a Sigma, you're not alone. You're just lone, but you're not alone. And you don't have to be. You can still be with others and still be a lone wolf. You can be an alpha and still be a lone wolf. You can lead and still be a Sigma. Avoid the trappings of the alpha, and you can lead as a Sigma. That's my experience as a lone wolf. And who else can tell you? 1 out of 100. Okay, if you want to learn more about this, you will find it in my book, Tracking the Lone Wolf, the Sigma at Work, at Home, and at Play. It's available in paperback and for Kindle, and in audiobook format at Audible and other platforms. Check out the website for more, trackingthelonewolf.com. I'm Fletcher Roden. This has been Tracking the Lone Wolf. Thanks for watching.